And I'm sorry, we get close to you.
That's okay.
Maneuvering stuff around. It's crazy.
Uh-oh, can't see.
I can see.
I can't see.
Now you can't see me. You just cut me all the way out. I guess I'm not
sorry.
important.
Let me back it
No,
up.
I'm just playing. It was fine. It's
okay.
fine. It was a joke.
I want to be able to see you. You're so pretty.
Oh, thank you, so are you. Your name should be like somewhere similar to mine. Like,
you know what? We're still. Can I see?
yeah.
No, cannot.
I mean, you can't see them, but they can see you.
No, they can't see me.
They could. I was just looking at you in there.
Was you really?
Yeah, I saw you and him.
Walking in. Hey, Decina, Tyler, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, Greg.
Ronnie, how you doing? Ernest, how you doing?
Hey, Nikita.
We're gonna get started. We have Britton Carter in the house. It's gonna be a good interview. It's gonna be a good interview.
It's gonna be a moment in time.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to Girlfriendz Chat Corner. I am your host, Inga. This is
Britton Carter.
And this is
Ingrid Rachel Project.
Let's do that again. I'm Inga.
I'm Ingrid Rachel Carter.
And this is Britton.
You just stole my name.
I know. We got all kind of bloopers already.
Okay, one more time.
Wait a minute. I can start from the beginning again.
One more time.
We done did this like a million times.
I know. I'm tired all over again. Okay. We're just excited to see everybody. Hold on. Thank you for tuning in for Girlfriendz Chat Corner. I am your girl Inga. This is
Quick
Rachel Project.
And we are in the house with Britton.
Quick.
Britton Carter on the line. Welcome. So I'm so glad you're in the house today.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Now, for all you guys that don't know, Britton Carter is a roundabout man all around Cincinnati. He hosts a talk show. It's Britton Carter on the line. And it's on regular TV, isn't it?
No, actually it's on community access TV, and it also has some viewings on some local networks as far as dating and whatnot. So we got like a 700,000 market radius.
Wow. You know, because I interviewed with Britton one time.
I did.
That was fun.
So we have to reverse it this time.
Listen, I had both of these beautiful women on my show individually. I couldn't take them both at the same time. I'm telling you, I'm a lot of guy boy, but I couldn't take these two at the same time.
Yeah, well, you know what? I had so much fun doing your show. It was real. You know, but I never was able to see it on Access TV though. I never got a chance to see it.
Yeah, I never got to watch myself.
Me either. I never got a chance to see it. It's
I'm watching you all the time.
Well, I never got to watch myself. I get to stream while I'm doing stuff and see other people do stuff.
Right.
But like when you're doing like 50 million bajillion things.
Oh my God,
right.
yes.
By the time I get home, the only thing I'm trying to see is the back of my eyelids. Like that's it. That's all.
Right.
Now,
else I can't say it on television.
That's true.
There you go.
Now, as we do in every show, we always start with some icebreakers. So this one we're gonna start with is with Mr. Carter, because he does all kinds of TV shows and plays and all kinds. So we decided to do a line from Harlem Nights.
Yeah.
That was also filmed and made in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes.
So I am gonna be playing Sugar.
When you know it.
Well, I only have like one line, but y'all didn't give me very many lines.
Well, you saying what y'all want to do. Y'all know I'm gonna pick Veer.
I know y'all didn't give me very many lines though, so I'm
You
Sugar.
picked the same.
I did pick the same, and he's gonna be played Quick, which is by Eddie Murphy, and this thing over here gonna be playing Vera. She wanted my character. I wanted that character.
I mean, we can. You know what? We can do every other line. I can do the first line.
No, I get confused. We're gonna do Vera, and you're gonna be Vera.
Mm-hmm.
And who's that played by?
Della Reese.
Della Reese. Rest in peace.
Right.
Rest in peace. So, icebreaker, we're gonna play Harlem Nights, so you guys have to judge us. So I'm gonna start it off because Quick's gonna start it off. Quick gonna start it off. All right.
So
and action.
$200. You mean to tell me your girl's been back there all night long and they only made $200?
You kiss my ass quick. I don't never say nothing when the crack tables come up short.
That's because the crack tables don't never come up short. Just the girls.
Calm down, Vera.
Kiss my ass, sugar. You kiss my ass too. You accusing me still.
I ain't trying to say shit. You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay. The girls always coming up short. All right. Let's get this out on the line right now. On the line. I'm stuck on the line.
Okay.
Let's get this on the line right now. You in charge of the girls, and the girls always coming up short.
When the place is packed, the girls come up short. So either you got a problem or you got something with your arithmetic.
Are you accusing me of stealing? Hell yeah. I'm about to kick your ass.
I am
I'm gonna shoot her in a pinky toe. That's what I'm gonna do.
Go on, shoot me in my pinky toe.
I hope you guys like some of our terrible acting, but I mean my terrible acting.
I just
My
read it out
turn.
my wash tag.
My turn.
It works.
But Britton, I'm so glad. That was pretty fun to do.
It was
that
big
was
fun.
cool. That's fun.
It
Well,
was-
let's get down to business. Start talking about you and your life and all things you accomplished so far. I mean, when I was talking to you earlier today, when you was talking about your life,
Right.
it really inspired me. It really did. So let's start with where are you from?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, born and raised here.
Born
Okay.
and raised.
And did you go to school here?
Yeah. I'm a product of actually grew up in the West End.
Okay.
Down in Parktown. Projects just covered with aluminum. You know what I'm saying? So we
They
was
had
up.
electricity
We was
back
uppity. We was
Exactly.
uppity. So I grew up in Parktown in the West End. We migrated during the riots to Bond Hill, and
Okay.
from there I went to Woodward High School.
Wow.
Started, and I had a pretty eventful time there at Woodward High School.
Did you like it or didn't like it?
I loved it. I loved Woodward High School. It's a great school.
Okay. And your parents also lived here with you too?
Oh, absolutely. My mother and father, both parents were, in the home, which I was fortunate to have both of my parents in the home with me. Went to Woodward High School and became a basketball player. Found out I had some skills, some gifts. And you know what I'm saying? And so I started varsity at Woodward High School in the 9th grade. And I was like the first in the city to ever do that and the third in the state to ever accomplish that feat.
To play varsity ball?
To play varsity. At that time, they wasn't allowing guys to play varsity. You had to do a stint freshman year and a sophomore year and play reserve, and then you might get called up to the varsity. So I guess I was sort of like a prodigy.
Okay.
It's gifted.
I was
Gifted.
The boy was gifted.
That boy too.
So how far did that go? After graduation, where did Britton end up at?
Well, actually, I had a lot real soon. Went to college. I went to a military institute, actually. Was being highly recruited throughout the state and, from other colleges throughout the country. And I settled on New Mexico Military Institute, which is in Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay.
I was an uppity boy. I wanted to go far away from everybody. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to get somewhere.
So what was it like living there?
Oh my God, it was a blast. Outside of it being a military institute, what really got me was a culture shock for me. I'm there and I'm dressed in this military uniform, going to school, having to march, and doing those types of things. But when you talk about geographical location,
Right.
and getting to the experience of really being in a state that's completely different from Ohio, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you lived in New Mexico for a while.
Right.
And then after New Mexico, you were in the military there too, weren't you?
Right.
Okay. So then what happened? What was the light that came on and said, you know what, I'm gonna go back to Cincinnati and start this career or go overseas? I think you told me you were overseas first, didn't you?
Right. Actually, what happened, my coach happened. What actually happened, to give you I keep it on the line now, so I'm keeping it on the line.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
I was one of those guys that liked to smoke pot.
Uh-oh.
So here I am, a star guard on the team, and I was caught smoking pot. So actually the light was some blue lights in the rear view mirror. And yes, so I wind up being dismissed from school. And
It's because they caught you smoking the pot?
Yeah, because I was smoking the pot. And I came back here and I went into a feeder school in Kentucky from here. So,
what's a feeder school?
So a feeder school is a smaller college that feeds into a bigger program.
Okay.
And the feeder college I went to was in Kentucky.
Okay.
And it was a school that was feeding into UK at the time. But, something happened. I went to the Dirt Bowl Classic. I showed out. I beat up on Jack Gibbons and them guys. And I thought I was good, for real. So things just kind of like fast forward. Wind up, saying, well, hey, I'm taking my act somewhere else.
Okay.
And so I went and tried out for the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix Suns, okay.
Got cut. Got that knock at the door and that letter. So
How long was you there? Because sometimes they don't keep you long.
Well, no, you don't stay long. I was there during the summer for roughly around a month and a half.
Okay.
And was quickly, cut. At that time, you had to have certain skills, and if you can't, they're not going to pick you up over a #1 draft choice or somebody that they go after vigorously.
Right.
Here I'm a guy from Cincinnati that had some things following him,
right.
And I attempted to walk on, and it was a good experience, and I enjoyed it, and until I got that knock at the door, and so that I wasn't discouraged at that point. I came back here, I kind of worked out, and found myself overseas.
Okay. Now, what was that like? So the basketball career you had, you took it overseas, and who did you play for overseas?
Well, I played in the USARA League.
Okay.
Overseas, and the USARA League is a military. I went back into the military.
Oh.
So it's a military. It's like the NBA version of the military, and you got some great talent there that plays, and they play all throughout Europe. So I played a year there, got out of school, and wound up out of the military and continued to play.
Okay.
After that until I came back to Cincinnati.
Okay. So you played basketball overseas. You came back to Cincinnati, and where did Brittany end up? What were you doing after that?
Well, after that, I kind of ended up on the wrong side of the tracks. And
Okay.
as we talked about earlier,
Yes.
this is part of my calling card. Yeah. So I got back here, and I was really like a little confused as to what I was going to do next. All my dreams and hopes were put in that basket that I was going to make it. I was one of the kids that I wanted to buy my mother the house.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so that didn't come to fruition. Found myself around athletes, other pro athletes who actually use drugs. And here I am, I'm the go-to guy. So I got caught up selling drugs and that type of thing, and found myself in prison.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit. So and we talked about this before we went on air. We talked about how we're going to present this because what Brittany wanted to do was educate everybody about the other side of life that you don't want to get in, how you get in that position. So if you have young ears in the room, you may not want them to hear some things. It's okay to remove them from the room, or either to put your earbuds in.
This is not kid friendly.
Yes.
So we were talking about you end up on the wrong side of the track. But I want to, when you started hanging around with the athletes, how was it presented to you? What made you say I'm going to sell drugs? How did that happen?
Wow, shoot. It was simple. It was economics. It was money. It was, and actually it was even more than that. As a clinician now, I understand I can connect the dots. Actually, I was looking for the same attention that I was getting when I was participating in sports. And here I am around athletes, and I'm able to, to get the pat on the back. You never stop hearing the applause.
Right.
It's you go out there at night after night when you're playing, and you're looking for this certain gratitude from your fans. Even the boos are gratifying.
Right.
So I found that when I went out and started hanging around other athletes and was able to supply them with drugs, that type of thing, I was getting that validation.
Good audience. You got that. You got that. And that's a great thing that you made that connection in your life on what exactly that you needed to make yourself feel that way. So you found something.
Yeah.
So you ended up in prison, and then what happened?
Well, actually, I continued to study. I was fortunate to meet some guys who knew me, from growing up, and they just kind of led me along the right path in terms of continuing education.
Wow.
So I stayed in the book. I constantly aspired to do better. You know, I wanted to do better. Even in prison, I had the philosophy that my year that I've spent doing one thing was going to be greater the next year than it was that year. So I always tried to do better year after year after year. I constantly tried to reinvent myself. You know?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So at what point with, you know, the sports background and then being on the other side of the track, so to speak, as far as the drug background, and you still kind of have that craving for the attention and everything, right? How did you turn that around into like the arts?
Well, actually, I used it. You know, I heard Mike Tyson say something that was really interesting.
Okay.
Mike Tyson talks about his fears. And, you know, I had to look at it in contrast to that I still had some fears going on. So I had to utilize those fears. So the attention, the fear of not having that attention, you know, I turned it around to a positive. And what I mean by that is, you know, I utilized some of the hidden gifts I had, some of the late gifts that I discovered to attract people towards the positive as opposed to the negative. And I'm driven by that. You know?
Wow.
So I have no problem with speaking. You know, I do speaking engagements now. You know, and all these things. So I just utilize those tools now to try to do positive things.
And we talked about that. You said you do speaking engagements, and you do for the prisons, and where else do you go?
Right, and it's ironic, you know, here I am. I go back into the prison system now.
Right.
So today I'm.
But the right way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really the right way.
And you leave when you want to get a sandwich.
When you bought you a sandwich, you
go right out that door.
To the table. You know? So yeah, I go back into the prison system today, juvenile prisons, adult prisons, wherever they have me, wherever they ask for me to come, and you know, I go in and I keep it on the line. I give the guys the real. You know, actually, that term is a prison term. You
What's
know,
that?
on the line.
On the line.
So I actually took that from prison.
Okay.
You know, the thing that guys are looking for in prison is to one day be back on the line.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
you know, I associated that, and I said, well, that's going to be my title. That's going to be my spinoff. You know, I'll keep everything on the line. So that's, you know, I go back in, and I love it. It's great. It's gratifying. I don't have to wear that gas station. You know, look, I'm telling you, I go in capping on them. I ain't gonna lie. You know, if you want to sit back and wear that old Texaco uniform, you keep on doing that. But I come in there dead sharp. You know what I'm saying? Because I want them to know that you don't have. You heard me. You don't have to keep on doing this. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to keep on doing that. It's unfortunate. Some of us find ourselves in situations that, you know, quite frankly, we have to spend time to get out of it. We got to pay our dues. You know?
Right,
but
right.
when you pay your dues, you don't have to keep repeating that same thing over and over again, like I did. I repeated it a couple of times, and finally I woke up one day and I was, you know, my beard was kind of gray, and my hair was on the pillow.
You got older.
You know
You got older.
And I'm like, oh, okay. That was the life.
Right. Right. That's amazing.
Can't wait for no one or nobody.
None.
You know, the thing about what I like about your story is that it's solid and it's true. It's raw. You just give it to the people like it is. Now, what I want to talk about now is this bio you have coming up. You're making a bio right now, and you're digging deep into the heroin addiction.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're digging in that, and what I know with your life experience, is that what made you want to create this story for others to see this story?
Absolutely, absolutely. It was motivation. You know, my own story is basically 70% of the motivation behind it. The other 30%.
Talk a little bit more.
Okay.
I know he got all shy.
I know. It's like they got real
Wait,
shy.
hold on.
In the car,
That's not the shyness.
In the car,
that's that cat daddy.
You know what I'm saying, baby?
You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, I digress. You know what I'm saying? But,
You know what I'm saying, baby? I just want to talk to you, baby.
Look, can y'all blame me? Look where I'm sitting. I'm like, you know, I got this big knot in my coat. You know? So no, but actually it was 70% of it was due to my own experiences. The other was 30% of actually just seeing what's going on in our community every day. Every day, we wake up to somebody that's ODing and they're doing so much craziness with drugs. And I just, I kind of sit back and I see some of these news stories on heroin addiction and addiction period. And excuse me, but they're so watered down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're so watered down. It's as if they cipher through the information that they want to give you. Well, they're not ciphering through information when they're copping.
Right.
When they're putting dope in their veins, they're not ciphering through information. They're putting it in there raw. So I decided to do a documentary, and it's Heroin, the uncut story. And I'm going in where no man has gone before.
Right.
No reporter that is. I've actually gone into a shooting gallery and witnessed someone injecting themselves with drugs. Of course, I made my disclaimer, public safety guy. And just got their story because these people were suffering.
Now you putting yourself back into the environment of seeing that. How does that make you feel when you walk in places like that? And I don't know if you ever been in places like that when you were doing whatever, but how did it make you feel walking in and seeing somebody get a fix?
Well, actually, it makes me sad. Now, if you're asking me, does it tempt me? Does it evoke some cravings and that type of thing? No, and I'll tell you why. Not that I'm a super recovering addict, but I work on myself.
Okay.
And I was once told by a guy here years ago, he said, you'll know that you're starting to recover when you actually hate that thing. You know what I'm saying? When you actually have this hate for this thing that has devastated your life, then you know you're well on your way.
Wow.
I don't
That's a
tempt
rewind
that,
right there.
Yeah. I don't tempt that fate, and often. I did it. I was there, and that's part of getting the real story. I mean, we have.
No, I think it's excellent for you to do that.
We
Yeah.
have to do this sometimes. I mean, you look at reporters that go out in Iraq, they're on the front line. They're chasing bullets. We don't ask them, do you think that you're gonna get shot? They're trying to get the story.
Right.
And and that's what I was trying to do, was to get the story so that I can really help someone. Because the reality is that the more help that's available, I'm saying, the more that it's going to help not only other people, but myself as well. Because I got to continue to work this thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now, go ahead. Great.
So, do you have like a mantra that you tell yourself every day to help you through that? Because I know a lot of people that I know that are, in recovery and they kind of go back in, they have one.
Yeah, I got a mantra.
What is it?
Stay out the penitentiary. Yeah, that's my mantra. I'm not, because see, for me, when I was the type of addict that I broke out in a lot of stuff. A lot of things. I had this allergy. So I broke out in prison. I broke out in homelessness. I broke out in loss of family. I broke out in, financially losing things. I broke out in losing friends. And today, it's great to have someone see me in the store and not fear me, but to say, I saw you.
On TV.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I
like that. And that's so rewarding. So it's this.
So that's your new fix.
That's
right
it.
there. That's your new fix right there.
That's it.
Now this is about the news in Cincinnati. It's about the way they air heroin addiction versus crack addiction.
Right.
Do you think that they put heroin in a light where, help them versus, crack, put them in jail? Because I think that, there's more commercials on TV about, if you're heroin addicted, please get help, call da-da-da-da. But you never hear commercial about crack, because most of it, when you hear the word crack, you think of it in most of the urban black communities. You don't think of it in the, the white communities. They have crack. So, do you think there is a stigma where heroin is a thing in society that we help, and crack addiction is something that we don't touch because it's not our people?
Well, you know, you raise a valid point, and that's something that I deal with a lot, and this documentary exposes that. You know, yeah, there's a bias when we talk about drugs, from one drugs to the other, and a lot of it is miseducation. You know, first of all, a drug is a drug is a drug.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, regardless to what it is. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, you know, it's a political piece. You know, and it's okay. It's okay if little Billy, you know, is doing a little heroin. We need to get him some help.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? But when you talk about little Bilal, you know, doing some dope, you know, then we talk about
doing crack. You know,
we talk about incarceration.
Incarceration
And
in
they
prison.
look at crack actually as a cheap man's drug. So they, you know, it's still some things that we need to work through as a society when we talk about this whole treatment module, you know. But yeah, that's what they do. They look at crack as it's this urban drug, you know. They can go to prison and get some treatment, as opposed to the heroin epidemic, where now it's at the doorstep of those who write laws, those who, you know, you got lawyers, you got judges, you got people that are out here in the community that whose kids are suffering from this addiction. Now they want to get them some help.
Right, right.
See, they didn't want to provide that help when it was myself or someone else. You know, it was go to jail.
It's never important until it's you.
That's right. And in fact, I actually heard those words from the judge before. When early on in my usage, a judge told me, if you want some treatment, we're gonna get you some. You're going to the penitentiary.
Oh wow.
You can get it in there if you really want.
And that doesn't fix anybody.
Doesn't fix
But they
it.
have a drug now that helps to revive heroin overdoses.
Right.
But they don't have one for crack.
Narcan.
Right.
Well,
Right.
What's it called?
Is Narcan.
Narcan?
They don't have one for crack because it's a compound. So heroin is in a true form. So it's cocaine because it comes from the poppies. Now you got your ecstasies and stuff like that where it's man-made, it's mixed in. So you don't know what ratio of what is in it.
Okay.
So you can't do an effective antidote.
So strong, pure heroin, you can reverse that.
Right.
With the drugs.
Right, because you know, for everything that's pure, you have the antithesis of it. So if you don't know what my opposite is, because I don't know what your main, your core is. You know, it's like if you know you put bleach on leather, you know what's gonna happen. It's gonna eat through it. But if you don't know what the heck is on there, it's like it could float, it could not.
Right.
So that's the thing, especially when people are on multiple drugs, and so I think that you know that's a huge portion of it. Like yeah, it used to be a large part cocaine and then baking soda and something else, but now they're cutting it with what is it, embalming fluid? And
Oh, wow.
all kinds of
What?
crazy rats, all kinds of stuff. They stepping on it.
Yeah, just about anything you can find under your kitchen sink. What's happening is that, you know, we made this thing an economic thing, and you got guys that are, you know, trying to figure out a way to stretch a dollar, you know, for lack of better word. And they're going under the kitchen sink. They're not scientists.
Wow.
They're not
Just
chemists.
mixing it all together.
They're just putting stuff in there, you know, to stretch it. What's happening now, which is really demoralizing, is that they're putting fentanyl and carfentanil
Oh, wow.
and crack
Antifreeze.
cocaine and, you know, and it's killing people. They're actually they got a thing called gray death. And gray death is a mixture of fentanyl and carfentanil, and they're sprinkling it in marijuana, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they want you to come back. And their minds, you know, see, one thing you got to understand about this addiction piece is that it's just not the person that's ingesting the drugs that's the addict, it's the person that's selling it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're
Oh,
addicted
yeah.
to
They
that
wanna see
process.
that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So
You know.
here they are trying to stretch a dollar and get you to come back, and they're putting it in there, and they have no understanding that, hey, this can kill this person, and in some cases they do. In some cases it's so what? It's a crapshoot, you know. And so
You know, Brittany, we have so much to talk about, but right now we're going to check in on the line, see if we have any questions over here. Let's look at this real quick. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Hey, Kim.
Marcus.
Hey,
Norman,
Hi,
Razor.
everybody. Anybody got
Thank you
any
for tuning
questions?
in. Let's see here. I see the question. I seen one question earlier. Let's see here. Mike Martin. Hey, Mike. Dominique, how you doing?
Dominique.
Yes, Yolanda,
Yolanda Frazier sends her love.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, hey
Yolanda.
Okay, let's get back to talking about.
Well, I got a question.
Okay.
I got two questions.
Yeah,
I got two questions.
Right now.
The first question I want to know is, I felt like Malcolm X for a minute. Was that a test run when the lights went out? Because I was waiting to see if somebody was going in my pocket.
No, actually, in the studio, they got a timer. I don't know why, but we can't change it. But let's get back to, we got so much to squeeze in here for the show. But let's talk about your TV show online. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about online.
That's why I met you at.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I'm at him too.
So, that's right. I'm going to have both of y'all back.
So how long have you had the show? And what is it geared towards, your show?
Well, we've been on the line now this is our second season.
Okay.
And it's geared towards being a voice for the voiceless, actually, to empower our community, to really give them a platform, to showcase talent, undiscovered talent in our community.
Okay.
Primarily focusing on the African American, but I reach into every culture. You can be a Klansman. I'm gonna bring you on if you can sing, dance.
Have you had Klansmen on?
I got one lined up. I'm gonna bring one on.
That's gonna be weird.
It promises to be a dynamic show.
Oh my gosh.
And I know him in my past life, and we've talked, and he's agreed to come on.
That's gonna be a hard show. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna be hard to do. But, but I know this guy, and I know his stance, and he's gonna bring some information. And that's what our society needs, is information. So On the Line was developed, I got into TV and movies in 2012.
Okay.
I started writing long before then. I was trying to write my way out of prison. So I was writing movies and screenplays, and finally I locked in on a play that I wrote in prison, and it's doing quite well. It's grown since then. But someone mentioned, actually, that someone being Mazan.
Hey, Miss Mazan.
Missy Wizzy, she invited me to come on board with Media Bridges. Well, at the time, Media Bridges closed down.
Okay.
So when they resurfaced, I was one of the first persons she called, like, hey, look, get in here, get you a show. And that's what I did. So it's been a learning process for me, and I enjoy it. It's great.
Wow, you're such an interesting person. Now, so tell the folks what you have coming up. What kind of events do you have coming up other than your show? I know you have some plays coming up, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I do. And you guys always hear me scream about the miracle. The miracle, the miracle, miracle. I know you think I'm just...
Now, what is the miracle? I've never heard it before. I didn't know what it was.
Be confused with Miracle Whip.
No, not Miracle Whip, but it will whip you. So the miracle is a play. Actually, the miracle is a derivative of my life. It's excerpts from my personal experience. We'll get more into that, but it shows 6 men who go to prison and their lives change.
Okay.
So it's not really it's a rags to riches.
The riches kind of movie.
type of play, but it's a great play. It's a great play, Ingrid, who I'm trying to cast. There's some people here that know about it. They need to come on board.
I mean, let's have your people call my people.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You had your people call my people.
Let's talk about it. No, seriously, let me know.
Yeah. You said that before. But at any rate.
I mean,
I know she
like it. Yeah, she does.
You do not see me see nothing. I don't see no script. I don't see nothing. I don't know nothing. Listen, Linda.
See, hey, Trump, build that wall, okay?
Oh, no,
look, get that wall built. Did you just hear her?
Hold on. You bring that man's name on. You might get hit in the parking lot.
Please don't hit me in the parking lot.
Something wrong with y'all friend. You might need to come get him.
And let them not be confused with no Kanye stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know?
So you have the play. Get ready to start up. When is that going to be launching?
Well, actually, we're going into production after the completion of the documentary, which will be completed in December. So we're going to complete that in December.
Of 2018?
Of 2018.
Okay.
We're going to complete the documentary in December. We're going to showcase it in February. We're going to have a premiere showcase in February. By February the 27th, we're going in production full tilt with the miracle. So, you know, I want to actually be able to present it, you know, to the public, the new version, the new and improved version, you know, by the 1st of May.
Okay. And the bio, when is that tell folks when that's going to be coming out, the bio?
Oh, well, it's coming out, actually, it'll be out. I want to say late March.
Late March 2019.
I want to say late March. And the reason why I had to pause on that is because you know for a fact you got so much stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
And things get backlogged.
No, yeah,
you know,
easily.
So,
Really
you know,
easily.
we're looking at March. But, you know, I got some books that I'm doing that are coming out as well. You know, so, you know, we've got a slew of things on the menu to present to the public. You know, a couple of fiction books and some autobiographies.
You keep your hands in everything. I thought I was
Basically,
got to.
every month of next year, he's going to be dropping something on the people.
I'm gonna be doing something.
Just boom, shakalaka, it's money.
So, Britton, tell folks how to get in contact with you. They need to talk to you about anything, or talk about your movies, or maybe audition for your plays.
Right. Well, you can reach me, and you can reach me now at area code 513-242-0711.
Okay. And on Facebook?
And on Facebook is Britton New One Carter, and also on the line. Two pages. So you can reach me there. You can also contact me through the studio. It's Cybercom Communications. It's at 3429 Forest Avenue. So just stop by. Ring the buzzer. Come on in.
And your show airs every...
It airs every Monday.
Every Monday.
And
on channel?
What happens on channel 4, 24, and 28. So we rotate.
Okay.
It's a rotation there. So you'll catch me on Mondays. You'll catch me sometimes on Tuesday mornings.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, but it's a rotation. And what happens is, and the reason why that happens is because we're interlinked with another communication network.
Gotcha.
Both in Kentucky and also Waycross.
Okay.
So we kind of share the duties there.
Well, Britton, that was quick, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
It goes so fast.
Fast.
We're done. So we are so happy you came in here.
Zach Adams said repeat that phone number again.
Oh, the phone number.
Who said that?
Zach Adams.
Zach. 513-242-0711. Give me a call.
And you can find him on Facebook?
Facebook, Britton New One Carter. Also, you can find me at On The Line TV. And that's also on Facebook.
Or you can inbox me or Inga be like, Hoppo.
I'm in contact with him. We'll be on the lines at the bottom also too. You contact me or Ingrid, we can also put you in touch with them. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Inga.
Love you. And I'm Ingrid. I remember this time.
I'm Britton New One.
All right, see you later. Thank you.
Peace.
Hey guys.